Some of the world is round and round with all you ever knew. They say the sky high above is cowering
Good morning, welcome to route number 23 of my Wainwright challenge. Today I'm parked at the car park at Powter How. I intend to do 6 Wainwrights, which will be Bath, Lordseat, Broomfell, Greystones, Lingfell and Salefell. They're all low level hills. I think I'm a couple of days away from the shortest day, so it's daybreak as I set off, try and get most of the day in. Away we go. So for those of you familiar with the Lake District, when you follow the A66 west and you pass Keswick and you're heading towards Cockermouth, as you get to Bathenswaite, you'll on your left hand side you'll see a white stone. It looks like a pocket of snow or something on a cliffside. I've always wondered about this stone, and here I am below it just as we set off. It's a quite visual piece of stone. So here we go again. Forestry workers shut the path, which is shooting up there. It's all out of bounds, so we're following the gill. There is a slight path where people have tried to force their way up the side of the gill, which I'm trying to do now. Have to fight my way through this fallen tree, but here we go. We're following the gill side. It's pathless. I'm trying to get up to the Bath. You see there's more fallen trees ahead. So it's pathless and I'm fighting my way up this gill. Eventually I'll get to a right turn, but I'm just looking back over the valley. It was -2 when I set off this morning. You can see all the frost in the valley bottom there. Beautiful sight. So all the forestry work going on. So as I say, the footpath is in the middle of all that forest, so I'm just skirting the gill to avoid it all. Eventually I found a track, but that was not fun. That was absolutely horrendous. So take heed, don't go that way. There's Bath ahead, first one of the day. Probably taken me an hour and 45 minutes to do about a mile. That's how bad it's been. So here we are at Bath, and I have to say the views are spectacular. Look across, look at this. This is fabulous. Freezing mist in the valley. So at Ullock Pike just ahead, and Carlside, and then in the background we've got the mighty Skiddaw and Little Man Skiddaw beside it. Wow, wow, makes it all worthwhile. And that's Lordseat, that's the next Wainwright over there. I have to say that was horrendous. That gill scramble absolutely took an age. Never mind. I'm in the col between Bath and Lordseat. There's Lordseat ahead, and if I pan round, there's Bath in the background with the backdrop of the mighty Skiddaw. Isn't this absolutely stunning? So here we are, Lordseat. What a vista. Wow, that's how Hopegill Head where we were yesterday. Grisdale Pike. That's where we're going next. A lot of cloud around over there in the west. Can't see the sea. There's Bath where we started. Skiddaw Skiddaw in the background. Absolutely fabulous. So we're heading off Lord's Seat towards Broom Fell. You can see the trig point stood on the hilltop over there. Some fabulous scenery around here, stunning. So here we are, Broom Fell. Bit windy over here. Another cloud inversion down there. You can see Lord's Seat where we've come from. Wow, so we're heading this way now. We're heading over to Greystones, which is the other side of the woods over there, and the hill top you can see beyond. There's Greystones next. Hopefully the mist might clear over the sea. So I'm just dropping down into the coll at the bottom, and you can see there's some deforestation been going on. The OS map shows that as a woodland. Clearly it's been cleared, so we're going to follow the track along the side of it and then up to Greystones, as you can see at the top over there, and then we're going to follow it all the way down to Lingfell over there. So there's the top of Greystones over there in the sunshine. It's pathless, just got to make our way towards it. So here we are, Greystones. Just looking back, you can see Broom Fell over there, and if you pan around, that's Lord's Seat, all of where we've been today, obviously with the mighty Skiddaw as backdrop. Fantastic. So this summit over here is actually Kirk Fell. It's not a Wainwright. But we're going to head towards that wall, and then I'm going to have to try and follow the wall for a little bit, see where it takes us. So I'm just dropping off of Greystones, and there's a fence and a wall heading over towards Lingfell over there. So I'm going to follow this said fence and wall, not sure whether there's a path or not, and head over to Lingfell. That's the mound you can see in the distance. So you can see there's a very, very rickety stile, and a couple of rocks here helping you get over this fence, and there's Lingfell over there. So definitely a track down there that other people have used. Wow, so I've dropped off of Greystones, pretty much pathless, across this very boggy fell side. We're just about at the bottom now, down here. Little stream to cross. Fence to climb, and then it's a very, very, very steep pathless scramble up the side, Lingfell. It's going to be fun. Decided to skirt the fence posts and the wall, just to take a little bit of the steepness, because it's extremely steep, off. And when I got to the shoulder, there's a path heading to the top. As you can see there's people at the trig point and Lingfell. So here we are, top of Lingfell, Broom Fell in the background, just looking across from Lingfell over what should be the sea. Very low cloud, beautiful day up here. So we're dropping off of Lingfell, and you can see on the other side of the valley Sail Fell, which is the last Wainwright of the day. Quite a steep descent, I expect, and looks like another drag up the other side, and then we've got a fair walk back to the car. Just dropping down the valley side here quite steeply, and just walking into the clouds, so the mist and the fog below. Very very moody scene, isn't it? So there you go, that's the last Wainwright of the day. Gosh, that was steep. So I'm on the last bit of the ascent of Sail Fell, and I'm just looking across. You can see what we did earlier in the year. That over there's Dodd, Ullock Pike, Longside, and in the background the mighty Skiddaw. And over there you've got Blencathra. Absolutely fabulous. So here we are at the top, Sail Fell. Absolutely stunning. It's a spectacular day. Right, we're going to follow this track now and retrace. Well, we're not retracing, we're doing a loop. We're going to head down to the roadside, through the forest you can see ahead, back to the car. So I'm dropping off the fell side. You can see there's a fork in the path. I'm heading slightly right to the cairn over there at the spot height 325. And when we get to the top we'll drop down again. So the plan is to carry on dropping off the fell side as we are down past that little lake that you can see, pond, then skirt round into the trees and then probably drop down into the mist and then follow the path beside the road back to the car. That's the plan. Before I get in the woods and lose the view, I just thought I'd take a last view of Ulloch Pike. It's a great hill, Ulloch Pike. Skiddaw in the background, Dodd, fabulous. I'll be in the woods and the mist in a minute, so possibly the last view of the day. What a fantastic day it's been. Hi, welcome to route number 23 of my Wainwright challenge. Today's Saturday the 18th of December and I parked at Powter Howe car park, which was a donations car park. I have to say this was a similar day to yesterday, whereby my initial plans were thwarted almost immediately by forestry work. Caused me a bit of an issue actually. The path that I'd plotted took me a steep path through a forest, running alongside a gill, Beckstone gill. Now, as it transpired, when I got there, the gill was the forest track was closed because of the various works going on. So I decided to follow the gill itself as close as I could. Could only be about a mile, and pick up the track at the other side of the forestry work. Now, this was potentially a mistake. It was extremely difficult. There was fallen trees, there was extremely steep banks to try and climb up. I was climbing underneath branches and trees. I was going through really thick ferns, pine trees. I was having to climb rocks. It took me an hour and a half just to do that mile. It was so steep. It was wet. The ground was sodden. It was just a real mistake. Anyway, I got to the top eventually and found a track, and which took me back on track to the first Wainwright of the day, which was Bath. Reasonably low level hill, extremely good views. Now there's a freezing fog around today, and it didn't let up all day. So all the valley bottoms were covered in a white mist, so it made the views quite special. Now there was a series of 4 Wainwrights from Bath, which are all visible from each other, and relatively easy navigation and paths between them all. So from Bath to Lord's Seat, and then indeed to Broom Fell, was all relatively straightforward. I think that the walk between Broom Fell and Greystones was a little bit further, and a much bigger drop before you went with the final ascent. But them 4 were quite comfortable to do together. Now, once you leave Greystones, then it became much more difficult. It was pathless. It was boggy. Now you could see the direction you needed to go in, but it was that's difficult underfoot. I did try to follow a wall as best I could, but there was various fences and walls in my way, so I had to find gates to get through, which inevitably took me away from said wall. Which takes you to the start of the ascent of Ling Fell. Now again, this is pathless. There are one or two trods which don't seem to go in any particular direction. So I started going up the very, very, very steep ascent of Ling Fell, and inevitably the trods all ended up running along the wall side, which I took, and it did help take some of the gradient away. Until I got to the shoulder, if you like, and then I followed the shoulder to the top. Now, I have to say, Ling Fell was very busy. I'd not seen anybody at all, really, all day, and all of a sudden I'm at Ling Fell, and there's quite a few people up there. And it's only 325, something like that, metres, so it's a relatively low Wainwright. So when you drop off Ling Fell, it's extremely steep again. And it becomes apparent why. At the bottom there's a road and a car park and various pull-ins for cars, so it's quite a popular place to park and have a walk if you just fancy doing the one hill in the day. You got a couple of 3 roads to follow down the valley, and as you climb out there's more cars parked, which is the start of the last Wainwright, which was Sail Fell, and again it's very, very popular. Lots of cars parked, another low-level hill, and you can see why it's popular, because the views are special. So people just wanting to go out for a 2 or 3 hours walk. It's an easy car park, and it's a lovely little hill to climb. Following on from that, I dropped down the other side, where again I became on my own again, let's say, and I dropped down through the forest and back onto the side of the A66. The little path ran through the trees, and eventually picked up the old A66, which was walled, and became, I think it's a cycle track, until I followed the road back up to the car park, probably about a mile road walking. Absolutely beautiful day, stunning views, really good winter's walk, 11.5 miles, and it took me about 6 hours, but there's still 3,347 feet of climbing, so there's quite a lot of ups and downs on this walk, and I have to say they were very steep ups and downs. The start of the walk and the last 2 Wainwrights, very steep. Great day, great walk, lovely winter option. Forgot to mention, today I've walked in some brand new boots, the Altberg Tetherer. Now please see my review following this, and if you're interested in what I've got to say about the new boots.